Hi, and welcome back to the Positive Prepper. So here we are, eve of Election Day. I hope that all of you are planning on going out and voting tomorrow if you haven't already. I've been very clear about who I support. I'm not ashamed of it. I will vote for Trump again because I believe that this is not an election between blue and red. I believe it is an election between good and evil and where this country is going to end up in the eyes of God. But there's two things I want to address. The first thing is that they are not going to let Trump win. You know this. Even if he wins by a landslide, popular vote, electoral college votes, the whole nine. Let's just pretend. I know it's supposedly a close race, but let's pretend for a second that he wins by a landslide. Okay? It isn't until January 6th when they certify the votes. It isn't until January 20th when he would be inaugurated. And they are going to pull out all the stops to make sure that Donald Trump is not sworn into office on January 20th. Now, we know that they're calling out the National Guard in several states already. Washington, Oregon, California. They're staging. I'm sure there's other states in there too. But I went through some different articles and I was watching some different YouTube videos and, kind of looking at some things online to see why. And a lot of it had to do with because they're afraid that the right-wing extremists are the ones that are going to be causing all this chaos. I believe that we've probably had enough. We're fed up. We saw what happened in 2020. We did some massive praying today that no matter what happens, that we stay safe, all of us, inclusively, stay safe from whatever evil might come from this election. We may not know. We probably won't know Tuesday night who the president is. So this could go on, probably into Wednesday, like it did in 2020. Remember, 3-something in the morning, all of a sudden there was a bunch of voter drops. All happened to be Democratic. Who knows what's going to happen? They know that all eyes are on them, and they know that Republicans are trying to make it too big to rig. But that doesn't mean that just because he may win, that doesn't mean that they're going to allow him to have the vote certified on January 6th and be inaugurated on the 20th. There's a lot that can happen, and I think there's a lot that could happen. So we had our group meeting on yesterday, Sunday, and if you pull the lens back and you look at everything that's going on, so you had that one terrorist person that was apprehended. That's one of 100,000 that are already in the country, probably prepared to do stuff. And then you have the cybersecurity training that's going to happen on November 5th, tomorrow. And then you have, Iran is really pissed off at everybody, and they're talking about going after Israel and the United States. Could happen tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot. And remember that we prep in terms of possibilities. I'm hoping that, somebody's declared a winner, life goes on. But I will tell you that I am very apprehensive if Kamala gets into office. The entire United States will end up like California. Remember when she says she served as a prosecutor against all these drug things, she went after people for pot, marijuana. She didn't go after the fentanyl dealers. She didn't go after the cartels. She wanted minors to be able to get sex changes and hormone therapy and all that without parental permission. Think about the road that we're going to go down if she gets into office. It's not going to be pretty. Okay? But there's a lot that can happen between now and January 20th. So I work tomorrow, but only until about 2:30. Obviously, I'm going to go vote right after that. And then my family, we're going to be sitting here with chicken wings and mini tacos and nacho supreme, and we're going to watch the whole thing. None of us are working on Wednesday. But we're not just watching specific news channels. We're going to be watching what's happening globally as well, which you should too if you can. The second thing I want to say is, are you prepared? So my work is 15 minutes away, right? My daughter's school is 15 minutes away. But we are going to have in our vehicles what we need to get home safely if needed. We have a plan in place to make sure that I can be contacted if something were to happen. We have a plan in place with our group. We have our, I don't remember what they called it, A through D plans for the part of the group that isn't here at the moment. They did a spectacular job of looking at different scenarios and putting some plans in place to get to their safe zone. But you have to be ready too. And most likely, if anything's going to happen, it's going to start in the major cities. Okay? You guys know that I live in Wisconsin, not that far away from Minneapolis. Remember back in 2020. So we're going to be paying attention not just globally and with the election, but we're going to be paying attention locally and regionally for our other group members, and as well as like nearest cities to us, like what's happening there. And we're prepared for it. We're ready to go. Like if we have to go into that that mindset. Are you prepared? Did you fill your gas tanks? Do it tomorrow morning. Make sure that your propane tanks are full. Make sure that your wood is chopped and near your alternative heat. Make sure that you have food and water. Make sure that you have defensive things for your home. Okay, watch out for your neighbors. We're going to be paying attention to cars, vehicles, activity. Pay attention to an uptick in law enforcement activity. Okay? Pay attention to military activity. Don't think that just because we might get through tomorrow and nothing happens, we might get through Wednesday and nothing happens. We have to get through January 20th. So that is 3 months that you have to be prepared for. Don't become complacent because somebody's declared a winner on tomorrow or Wednesday or sometime this week, or, if Georgia takes 2 weeks to figure out their count, whatever. Don't think that just because the election part is over, that we are out of the woods, especially if Trump gets into office. So I just wanted to put this video out there. You need to be prepared. Remember, we always hope for the best, pray for the best, but we prepare for the possibilities. They will not let him get into office. They're already talking now about disqualifying him because of his comments taken completely out of context about Liz Cheney. They're already looking at that as a disqualifier. So be prepared, and you need to have your head on a swivel. If you have to work, like we all do, after Wednesday, it doesn't mean that the threat to the crisis is over. You need to keep in mind that we have to get through January 20th. Okay? And probably beyond that, depending on what happens. But I wanted to put this out there. Pray like you've never prayed before, that God puts his hand over this country and brings us back into his good graces versus under control of Jezebel that will bring this country under the rule of Satan for the next 4 years and probably beyond that. Think about your children and your grandchildren and what that will look like for them. So make sure you're prepared, not just for this week, but for the next 3 months. Okay? So stay safe, stay extra vigilant, and God bless.